Yes. Well, public school they did. I mean, I did it in public school.
Call this meeting to order. Mr. Ahern, would you lead us in the pledge, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For starters, everybody gets a lifesaver. Probably most of you know that Mike Ahern is going to serve as our new selectman until the next town meeting, as Armand Gerard had to resign due to the fact that he moved out of town. So we want to welcome Mike Ahern as our newest selectman. Our usual first item on the agenda is to approve minutes of prior meetings, the first of which was our non-public work session of September 14th. I think we were all there except Mike Ahern. So we'll have a motion to approve those minutes
So moved.
by John with a second by
Second.
Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And we also have the minutes of the September 14th regular meeting. And I'm going to have to prompt these guys again, I guess. I need a motion.
Make a motion to accept
Okay,
those
by
minutes as
Bill,
written.
with a second
Second.
by John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You know, I didn't even notice that Mr. McIver wasn't here. We just approved the minutes of the September 14th meetings. And of course, we did not have a meeting on September 28th. It was canceled because most of us were out of town. And this is our next, I believe this is our next meeting after the September 14th meeting, so we won't have any other minutes to approve. All of the above meetings, which are going to be, the next one's on October 26th and November 9th, with work review sessions prior to the meeting at 5, are going to be held in the town hall unless otherwise posted. Weather observations for the month of September are available in the town hall. Citizens wishing to be listed on the agenda should notify the town hall before noon, the Friday before the meeting if possible. And our first real agenda item here is Brian Dutile, or Dutile, request for appointment to planning board. I don't think this person is here. Do you know?
Yep, Brian attended the last planning board meeting and indicated his desire to get on the board, and I support his application, and
Okay.
I would move that we accept this application.
Second.
All right, so we got a motion by Bill, second by Neil. Is there any further discussion about Mr. Dutile? If not, all those in favor of appointing Brian Dutile to the planning board, say aye.
Aye.
We're going to we have a public hearing scheduled for 6:15, and we have,
Should have
pardon me?
Should have the form
Oh,
around someplace.
okay,
but-
yeah, thank you. But maybe what we could do is jump ahead. The next item on the agenda following the public hearing is David Kent to discuss I believe, the zoning amendment that was up last week. The only thing is, we would like you to have as much time as possible, and if we get to 6:15 and we're still talking about this, we may have to cut it, because we have to do I think we have to stick to the time. Yeah, okay. Oh, please sit. And why don't you just give us a second to sign this appointment of Mr. Dutile. Oh, this is actually the original here, I guess. Maybe, Mike.
Don't waste their signature.
lifesaver?
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they're really nice.
But he can offer, that's okay.
Redistribution.
Yeah.
So, Dave, you sent us an email back a few days ago, essentially asking to discuss, what you said was possible initiatives in some similar situations relating to the registration of landlords in the downtown area that was petitioned by warrant article last year, and I think ended in a tie, essentially, right? And therefore failed. So, I think we're all ready to hear what you have to say.
Congratulations. As a member of the public, as you know, last year, townspeople petitioned for an article on the town warrant, the idea being that landlords would register their property. And the reasons for this were manifold. One had to do with the fact that we were aware, and became more aware after we'd done this, that not all property which is rented out to students, and I mean particularly students, that seems to be the problem, is lawfully rented. Overcrowding, too many people in the buildings, unsafe conditions in the buildings. So we put forward this initiative. And I know from standing as I did at the polls for the whole day, a substantial number of students came to vote on that issue and registered to vote that day, and in fact did vote. If we counted up the townspeople who voted, this matter would have passed overwhelmingly, but we had about 150 students who registered to vote, and it came out 269 to 269. Well, if one does the math, it passed by more than 2/3 as far as townspeople were concerned, but we had this extra influx. Following that, there were things that went back and forth from landlords and the like, promising that if we ever did this again, there'd be 1,000 students who would come and register to vote and take control of an issue before the town. Well, that I found kind of upsetting. First of all, that a landlord would threaten that kind of thing, and secondly, that students would see that they belong in the town as a citizen and take control of our government. I mean, that didn't seem right. So I've kept my eyes and my ears open about what we used to do. What have I found? More property has been converted since the town meeting to single-family houses taken over and rented out to students, which I think is bad for several reasons. First of all, it tends to raise the price of housing for younger people who want to live in the town with a family because of the competition for housing that way. Secondly, it reduces the number of students in our schools as the number of families that can afford to live in Plymouth get displaced to other places. So therefore, we have a falling enrollment in our school. Now, I realize that over the state, there is generally a falling enrollment, but Plymouth seems to lead the way in terms of a falling enrollment in our schools. I think that's bad. I mean, pretty soon the football team won't have enough people to put on the field. I mean, this is a serious matter. That'd be really serious. So, this summer, I watched very carefully as Portland, Maine, went through the exact same process that we were dealing with, except they have a different kind of government than we do. They don't have town government, they have a big city government and the like. And what occurred there was, unfortunately, they learned the hard way. 5 youngsters died in a fire. And that caused people to say, what in the world is going on here? And I think of all things that you people have to do, protecting the health, safety, and welfare of people is paramount. And safety is right up there. And so we had a fire that killed 5 people. Why? Same basic reasons of some of the problems that we have in this town. Overcrowding, illegal pieces of property in terms of access and egress, fire codes aren't met, electrical codes aren't met. Anyway, Portland got upset about this, and they said we have to do something. So what I've brought you, and you can each have one of these, is the response that Portland had. The first 2 pages are the newspaper article which explained what it was. And the rest is in fact, the ordinance which they passed. And I bring it to you because I don't care to get into a situation where 1,000 students come down here because the landlord's threatening with all sorts of things. And I can tell you, as someone who heard students, as I stood at the polls, we don't want you seeing what's going on in our apartment. Now, I don't know what's going on in their apartment. They were suggesting something that the police might not like was going on in their apartment. That's our private space, and you stay out. Well, first of all, I'm not going to go in there. If anybody's going to go in there, they're going to go in there with a warrant if they think something illegal is going on. So what Portland did was they passed an ordinance, something which you people can do. You don't need the students. You don't need the townspeople to vote. You saw how the townspeople felt about this. And now if you chose to, you could create an ordinance and simply pass an ordinance. Now, personally, I don't think it'd be as good as an amendment to the zoning ordinance because the penalties aren't nearly as high when you pass an ordinance versus something which is in the zoning ordinance, zoning law. But at least it would be a step in the right direction in terms of trying to correct the problem. It would give the town an inventory, and Portland has, if you read the article, you find thousands of places they don't even know exists. We have much the same problem. We don't know what's for rent here in this community. And we can't inspect something if we don't even know what it is. So I've brought this for your consideration. What you do with it is entirely up to you as a board in your own wisdom. But I think if we take it back to the town again, and when the landlords militate again, and because they did the same thing in Durham, I believe, when Durham attempted to get after this kind of a problem. The landlords got all the students to get on and register to vote and control the issue. Apparently that tactic isn't going to work. So what's left is you people and an ordinance. And you have the authority to adopt an ordinance in the town which accomplishes the goals just the same way that Portland did. Now, of course, this is probably a little more elaborate than what you would do, but all the sections are there causing landlords to register.
May I ask a question?
Surely.
Was this an amendment to their zoning ordinance, or?
No, this is just, well, I don't know the answer to that. They have one ordinance, which is all of the town ordinances in one thing because they have a different kind of government.
Yeah.
So an ordinance is
They
an
may not
ordinance.
have a separate
They do have
zoning ordinance?
They have a planning and zoning section. They
Of the-
have municipal ordinance, like police ordinances and the like. They're all in one large law. This is section 6 of their ordinance.
Maybe I should know this, but what is the difference in the ability to enforce or the penalties between the town ordinance that we would enact and zoning ordinance?
Well, the zoning ordinance can exact a much stiffer penalty per day than anything which you pass. You can pass an ordinance which has, I think it's up to $100 a day penalty for violations of the ordinance.
Okay.
If it were the zoning ordinance, it's substantially more than that.
Okay. $100.
But you could control the same things. You could have the right to go and inspect the property and check for things that violate the fire law or violate the zoning code or whatever you choose to do. You would have the right, and your code enforcement officer would have the right to do that. And what's more important, know where these properties are. Now, some of them are easily identified. Just look at the cars misparked all over the property and you can pick them out. But there are others that aren't. Furthermore, if there is inspection, I believe that the landlords would conform. You'll find as you read this, something where the landlord association supports this.
They do, in
The
Portland they
landlord, in
did?
Portland, the landlords association supported this.
Because
You
the
read it in
responsible landlords, I
That's
suppose,
right.
weren't violating in the first place.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But the fly-by-night people who are under the radar stayed under the radar.
From what I saw, we had a pretty concentrated opposition to this from the landlords. All of them, not just,
Well, they came in with a little sheet of paper that said things that were outrageous. Like, this allows the police to walk into your place anytime they choose to,
right.
and the like. Just scaring the heck out of these kids. Even the ones which I considered pretty bright who stopped to talk with me said, "Oh no, we can't have this sort of thing going on." So that's what I brought you. Now, what you do with it, I'm with you. Whatever you
Yeah,
choose to do.
that's an
with it.
interesting idea. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions of, we are running into 6:15 here, so, do we have any other questions of Mr. Kent?
Okay, I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for coming in and
Thank
for all the
you.
work you
Thank
did on this.
Here's a couple of extra
All
copies.
right, great.
I hope you adopt something like this. I think it would be a good
All right,
idea.
We'll certainly talk about it.
Excellent. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you coming in, Dave.
Thank you.
Now, so it's 6:15, and on our agenda at 6:15, we have scheduled a public hearing, and I'm going to just state what the purpose of it is. Pursuant to RSA 3195B, unanticipated funds, to address the following: to accept unanticipated funds from the State of New Hampshire Department of Safety, Homeland Security, and Emergency Management in the amount of $95,524 for repairs to a portion of Bell Road, Phase 1. These funds represent 75% of the total project cost. The town's portion of this project will be $31,841. The total project cost is estimated at $127,365, and I gather Mr. Freitas is here to tell us about this.
Mr. Chair, I think you described what I would have described to you. It is, we've been seeking this grant actually for over 12 years. The Highway Department started 12 years ago to pursue this. This is going to come in from 3A, 850 feet up Bell Road. It's going to encompass a 10-foot box culvert and some 24-inch pipe that's going to go another 500 feet with 2 feet of coverage and the raising of the road for about 500 feet.
Okay.
There is a Part 2 that's in the works that will probably bring Plymouth between $300,000 to $500,000 in grant money. We have most of the matching funds for that covered in in-kind services through highway and also the engineering that's been done over the past 12 years.
You're saying this, the 25% of this, the 31,000 we have covered, is that?
Right,
Yeah.
Right. In-kind service will cover our match, and the other reminder is that then we go to the state and get another 15% in lieu of the 95,000 from the federal government.
So
It
we get
actually went from Homeland Security through me, federal government, to the state, which has now come through the town.
So do we get 95
We get
plus,
95,000 plus, right?
plus 15% of
Another
95,000?
15%
Of 95 or 127?
of 127.
Of 127, which is, does that reduce our 31 by
Mhm.
18?
Yes.
And so we're really in this for like 13, 14,000,
7 of which was already engineering over the years.
which we've already
So,
paid for.
right, another, I believe, 4,000 this year, but part of the engineering this year also encompasses Phase 2.
I see.
Phase 2 will go from that culvert all the way to Reservoir Road.
So what is, bottom line, what's our out-of-pocket here, do we know? Is it just a few $1,000s?
Just a few $1,000s. Probably some more engineering fees would be the.
And is that, when would that be done? Do we know?
Joe's not here, okay, we don't have it scheduled in, we didn't get it in time.
It'll
Like I
be
said,
next year?
Yeah, 12-year wait, Joe didn't schedule it. We thought we were getting this 3 times, but Homeland Security actually had that confused with the Phase 2 that we're talking about. So each year that we did budget it and factored it into Joe's schedule, we didn't get the money during that construction season. So he can start this, I would imagine, as early as April. I think he would want to get it into this fiscal year since we're getting the money in this fiscal year.
Mhm.
And Phase 2, we're hoping to do that in next fiscal year, which could be the end of next summer.
Mhm. Okay. Questions, comments?
Good work,
Yeah,
thank
good
you.
work is right.
Yeah. Paul's bringing home the bacon here. That's good to see.
You mentioned the number of 300 to 500,000 possible for future highway work.
For Bell Road,
Yeah.
because that's just consists of 85, and I
One
believe
section.
the whole road is a mile and a half. So So that's just the beginning. And
That's a nice beginning.
as far as the road goes, it's not as much as the road as it is the culvert and the damage that, the culvert's at the wrong angle. So when we have these significant storms, the property to the north of that culvert gets wiped out consistently. And it is marshland and stuff like that. And then we have to bring in the DES for the cleanup. So I am surprised it's gone this long, but we'll get it.
Persistence. Do we, any members of the public have any comment or question about this proposal? All right, guys from Plymouth High School here, for example? No, okay. All right, if there's
So
nothing
you have
else,
some
I'll-
paper, no, I'm here on behalf of Homeland Security for you to sign and accept it. You have to vote to accept it.
okay.
And after you vote to accept it, you'll sign those sheets. I've got Ann Aber here, who's a notary. She'll notarize it,
All right.
and we'll send it in for the check.
Well, we'll close the public hearing, and then we'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I make a motion, we accept the funds as
All right.
outlined in
And you-
$95,524.
All right, as described by Paul.
Second.
So we got a motion by John, second by Neil. There's no further discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Should take care of that. So let me just see. Oh, is this one of these things with 30 signatures?
It is.
Okay. Original to sign. I'm gonna keep that paper clip on there. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna. So we are sub-recipients. I see we have sub-recipients 1, 2, and 3, and
Name and title of subrecipient signer.
signatures.
Three of you will sign it.
Just 3, and then what is sign or 1? Is that, oh, that's a print. This is sign print, okay.
I thought we already did.
Can amend the motion. Start, is it too late
We
for
can make
that?
that a separate motion.
Okay.
And that's for a notary, so should I go through this and I'll do it first and then
And you have to initial at the bottom.
Colonel. Goodness.
That's why it took 12 years.
What's that?
That's why it took 12 years, Mike.
Yeah, really, huh? I'll leave the date. So who's the, oh, this is for them, I think, the CFO of, it says Chief Financial Officer. I don't,
No, that's through you, Mike.
oh, it is. And that's a notary, there's room for, oh, that's it, oh, geez.
Right, we have 3 selectmen, so.
Well, this says print, sign,
Oh,
I better,
there goes the 94K.
what's that?
We just lost it.
Maybe that's 10 years.
We're down to about 75 now.
2025. Oh my goodness. I guess that's it.
This'll
So
slow their
left
water
or
down.
right? I'll
You
go
want
left.
just, or you want someone to do this the 2 and,
What's that?
Yeah.
or either pick a two sides. 2 this side, 2 that side.
To this side.
Okay.
You're okay, right?
And rather, so I know Bill can multitask.
Yeah.
our finance director reminded me that, it would be easier for us to have the board approve a $95,524 purchase order, so that we'll get together a blank purchase order for the board to sign,
Okay.
and have me be the signatory of the invoices as they come in from whoever
Oh, sure.
contractor wins the bid.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
So we would like to have a motion to authorize, well, to sign a purchase order for the $95,000 and then authorize Paul to make periodic payments as they come due without further action by the board, I think is what you're saying, right?
I would be signing off on it, right? I'll be the signatory.
So moved.
So we have a motion by Paul with a second by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You are multitasking. You listened to that, you voted.
I'm amazing.
Great.
Okay.
I'm not having any lifesavers because I feel kind of guilty about giving them away.
Believe you owe him a bag.
I think I owe him a bag.
No problem. I got big shoulders.
So I can mention, one thing that'll be coming before the board, probably in a year, or maybe in the budget that we're putting together, is one thing that Homeland Security won't let us get money for mitigation, is the asphalt that goes on top of the finished product. And if the road is already asphalt and we're doing something on that road, then they will pay to replace the asphalt. But if it's a gravel road, as Bell Road is, they will not pay for it to go from gravel to asphalt. That's always contentious, and we always feel that the asphalt will stop the washout, especially in Bell Road. There's quite a hill there that asphalt will definitely stop the washout. I would always think that you'd want to mitigate that with asphalt. That's one of the biggest problems on phase 2. So they will pay for what is called hard pack. But I think I'm going to be coming to the board and suggest that the town at least asphalts that portion of Bell Road. So,
After the improvements are
yeah,
made.
after the improvements are made.
On
So,
top of the hard pack or instead of the hard pack?
instead of the hard pack.
Yeah.
And maybe the money that the contractor can save us in hard pack could, I mean, we'll still go for the hard pack so that we can receive that money. And then I think we'll be allowed to use that money. Well, we're gonna put the thing out for bid anyway.
Yeah.
And,
So you think maybe we can use the money and sort of upgrade, and it might cost us.
right, it's
a
not gonna
little
completely offset it.
bit. Yeah. It would be much nicer.
I mean, because truly in that part of Bell Road, we can't get a day with showers and not end up with washboards. And the trench is starting to wash out on that road, in that particular section. I will check for any missed signatures.
And where the notaries are required, we all acknowledge the execution of those.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hopefully we do this again
Thank
during the
you.
winter
Yeah,
time.
that's great. Thank you for all your
Thank
work.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Paul.
We took care of Mr. Kent, and then we're gonna have Joe up here to discuss a few purchase orders, I think.
Good evening.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I am good.
So what would you like to purchase?
Well, I need my sand budget for the winter operations.
All right, so I see screened sand up to 15,000 from Pike.
Mhm.
You've got salt up to 36,000 from Granite State Minerals.
Correct.
You've got CM Witcher rubbish removal, 7,000. What's that?
That is not mine.
Excuse me?
The CMW is not mine.
Oh, okay.
That's solid waste.
That's,
Oh, all right. Gotcha. And then you've got Porter Paving Road Repair.
Correct.
And what's that for?
I have a whole, like, a dozen culvert crossings that we repaired culverts this summer,
Okay,
and we don't have time to try to get them in, so I have Porter Paving coming in right after they pave all these
gotcha.
crosswalks, and they're gonna take care of them.
All right. So this is mostly for the crosswalks?
West Side Lane.
Culvert crossings.
Yeah.
Okay. And culvert.
What do they do, how many feet on either side of the culvert do they do?
They average probably 3 to 4 feet. You know, the width of depending on the bucket that they use.
That helps keep the water out.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 3 purchase orders. One for Pike for sand for 15,625. One to Granite State Minerals for road salt up to 36,000. And the Porter Paving we were just talking about for 7. Can we, do we have a motion for those? To approve those purchase orders?
I move that we approve these 3 purchase orders for sand, salt, and paving.
Second.
All right, so we got a motion by Neil, second by Bill. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That takes care of those. I didn't ask if anybody had any questions, I guess, but I think any one of you would have spoken up if you had.
On the salt and the sand, just like to make sure I can put it like a blanket on that, so I don't have to keep coming to you each time, because it's part of my winter services.
I don't think that's a problem, right?
Okay.
How,
Makes your
What
life
do you mean a
easier.
blanket, though?
Meaning
You can spend,
and overall,
I don't have to come to you each time with a purchase order over $2,000.
no. I think we approved up to 36
Right.
for example, right? So
Okay.
you're on your own.
how does that compare with last winter?
Actually, I went over on sand, and I used less in salt, but the price of salt went up $2.25 a ton. So so money
It sort of
averaged
leveled
to
out.
be where it needed to be
Yeah.
for the salt.
Worked out in the wash, huh?
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, Joe.
Do we have to sign more than one? Yeah, I guess we do.
Each one of them.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll do the $7,000 purchase
Okay.
order on behalf of the recycling center. That's for disposal of the shingles. And it was, I believe, on your purchase order, it's $75 a ton,
Yes?
which is just under 4 cents a pound. The one thing that I'm going to check going forward under the new management is, I know we used to charge 3 cents a pound. We only try to recoup what it costs us to dispose of. And now I see that it's up to 4 cents a pound. I just want to make sure that we're charging what we're supposed to. Because the other area that we're losing is if we would send out 20 tons of shingles along with what we would recoup from the public, we would get back 20 tons of material that we could use on the road, especially repairing the road down to the metal pile at the recycling center. We no longer get any material back.
Oh.
So when the price started to raise a little bit higher once in a while, we were saving it in the material that we were receiving back. And
And did they just stop doing that?
They stopped
They're selling
doing
it
that.
somewhere else or whatever.
wait, so I will be checking to see if there's any vendors out there left that would still trade us one for what we're shipping out. And the way it would work is we ship out 20,000 tons this month. Next month, when they come to get our shingles, that's when they will bring the 20 tons back. Because we have no way of knowing what we're shipping out until it finally makes it to the factory.
So if I bring in a load of shingles, do I get charged 3 cents a pound?
Yes, you do.
And
You might be getting charged 4 cents a pound. It might have gotten raised to that number.
Okay. We might want to be charging, maybe
No,
we should be charging 5 cents a pound.
we don't try to make money on it. We just try to break even
Okay.
the budget.
You got your roof done last year, and so you don't really care?
All right, so we've got a purchase order here for $7,000.50 to get rid of a bunch of shingles from the recycling center. We have a motion to approve this
So move.
by John and a second by Mike. Any further discussion, comments? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please get that. Neil? And then, the next item on our agenda is committee reports. Does anybody have anything?
Yes, we did.
Mike could probably talk to us about the planning board, but that's not his responsibility, so maybe Bill has something to report about the planning board?
Yeah, there was,
The liquor store?
The liquor store?
yeah, well, liquor store was approved.
So that was a site plan review, was it?
Yes, it was.
And that's to the left of the new hotel site,
Yep.
basically, isn't it?
Yep, yeah, towards, yeah, it's the left, towards between McDonald's and, the
We
hotel site.
approved a site plan for the new materials, what's that for, nonprofit, Habitat for Humanity.
Yes, we did.
Oh, where's that?
It's actually at the old car dealership across the street from,
What are they gonna do there?
they're gonna set up like a shop. They, actually sell materials. They relocating their, office from, I think it was, Holderness.
Oh, the-
Right
the
there at
Reese
175.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gee, they haven't been there that long, have they?
And, this new site will give them better coverage. They anticipate a lot more, business, I guess, so.
Will there be any prefab being done there, Bill, or just office?
Just office, there's, actually, they have, a storage, well, they're not gonna do anything to that site itself, but there's like a storage container that they might bring on board.
Won't be viewed from the road, they say.
Right. And it's not horribly large, I don't think either, but.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Well, the Conservation Commission has a Boy Scout who is working on his Eagle Scout project, building a kiosk on a trail up in the vicinity of Walter Newton. And they've, there's some logging going on Plymouth Mountain. Forco is doing work for Green Acre Woodlands. They own the mountain, literally. And that, they're kind of working with them, and they're trying to do a good job not to ruin the trails. And, they've had some changes in what members are doing. The Water and Sewer Commission, they've completed the project on Fairgrounds Road out near the old fairgrounds. That's all been finished paved. And they're continuing their project near the Baker River down behind Marshall's.
Right. What is that?
I think it's an upgrade of the sewer line.
So it's a pre-existing
Yeah,
that's being replaced?
yeah, it's a main sewer line that serves from Tenny Mountain right down Yetton Road, down Tenny Mountain Highway, and they've done a lot of work in front of Hatch Plaza already. They had a lot of failures.
And John, did you have anything?
Yes, October the 5th, there was a school board meeting at the elementary school, and they discussed the levels of achievement as far as math and sciences go, and the overall strategy that they're, planning to go forward and, improve the test results. I think also there's some erosion problems along the back part of the field over towards the Baker River that's being worked on the grounds there. And the next school board meeting will be November the 2nd. They're doing a lot of work. I think December, the first week in December, they have budget meetings too. So I think there were 4 other people other than the board members that came. But I think I think it would be good for a lot of other citizens and parents to come to these school board meetings and see what's going on, and give the school board the support and the teachers also.
I'd like to add something. Tomorrow, we're taking down the ski jump at the school, at the high school. Mark Johnston and I are going to remove the ski jump. And they're raising money. They're doing really well, I guess, raising funds to have a new ski jump designed and built.
Do you know who is spearheading that, or what the...
Well, Skip Johnstone
Skip, yeah.
seems to be the spark plug.
So he's the
and
co-op.
also the old ski coach.
Oh. Yeah,
Norm
LeBlanc,
LeBlanc.
yeah.
No, no.
Yeah, he's involved too.
So they must have a website or a Facebook page or something like that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where people could make a donation.
yeah.
Have you heard anything about what the cost is anticipated to be?
Oh, I think it's $50,000-$60,000.
Mhm.
Yeah, the GoFundMe thing is like for 50 grand or something
And
like that they're asking.
they got HEB Engineering from Conway too.
Nice.
They're donating a substantial amount of their engineering.
Is that planned to be done for this year? You know?
As soon as they have the money, I guess.
I think their initial intent was to get it ready for this year.
Yeah,
I guess it depends upon finance.
there's a lot of spirit for ski jumping in Plymouth. My son was a jumper. I was a jumper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You jumped off that lift.
No, we didn't have a jump when I was in school. We used Holderness School's
Predate the
jump.
jump.
Yeah.
All right. All right, is that it for committee reports, I guess? And then the next item on our agenda is this bill to discuss the possible city ordinance for, well, town ordinance, I guess it would be for us, but, would you like to address that?
Sure. Several weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, I got a communication from Carol Perkins of Longview Farms, and Carol was approached by Kristen Bustani. Is that correct? And Kristen had pursued this ordinance with the town of Portsmouth to, essentially, well, the ordinance is to require the city of Portsmouth city manager to adopt a policy of non-discrimination that explicitly forbids discrimination based on an individual's gender identity and expression. And it's basically to invoke protections for transgender people, and the fact that there are no protections federally or state in effect, and there are protections being pursued legislatively, but there's an opportunity to put those protections in place in the town of Plymouth.
So, I seem to have lost mine, but you gave us earlier at our work session, you gave us a copy of the city of Portsmouth's ordinance, didn't you?
Yeah, I took it back, actually. I only have one copy. The copy's going to be like placed in your boxes, too, to review. But if you'd like, I think Kristen is actually here to, tonight to
Would you-
ask questions or explain what's...
Would you like to come up and explain this or discuss
Should I
it?
stand up or take the comfy chair?
Whatever, yeah, the comfy chair is good.
Comfy chair.
Yeah.
Okay. So hi, I'm Kristen Bustani, and yes, I'm a transgender woman. Which basically means that I was born considered to be male, although I've had some testing done, so there's actually something that's not on the binary there. And a transgender individual is a person who expresses their gender identity different from the sex from which they were born as. So in my case, being assigned male and living as female, I also have many friends who were born female and are living as men. And so it's what's comfortable, it's what fits, it's what feels best to the individual. And usually for a transgender individual, I'll move into the ordinance quickly, but I just want to give a general understanding that it varies from sexual orientation, which is who you love, versus gender identity, which is who you are. So two totally different things. I'm very interested in pursuing an ordinance for the town of Plymouth. Right now, we have 17 states in the United States and about 200 municipalities that actually have laws in place to prevent discrimination against transgender individuals. And the reason it's not covered, this sort of, you would think, okay, so we have anti-discrimination laws already in place, so therefore we should be well covered. However, we don't in specific areas. I have some statistics here, which I believe are in the handouts, which you will have, in which 47% of people have been reported being fired, not hired, or denied a promotion at work. 90% have reported being harassed. 53% have been verbally harassed or disrespected in places of public accommodation, such as restaurants, banks, and stores. And that's a nationwide average. I don't see that in New Hampshire primarily. I think we're a more progressive state. We're seeing this more in the southern states. But I think what we're looking at is the potentiality of creating something that has inclusivity for all individuals and provides for some level of protection, at least at the understanding that the town is backing this for individuals who are gender variant, such as myself. While I haven't run into any specific problems of harassment in Plymouth, thank goodness, I don't think anyone really knows unless I mention it. It's still a possibility, and it's something I do consider on a daily basis, which is why I'm working to try, to bring this forward. I've actually spoken at the State House, to the House of Representatives. We've had WMUR and WBIN on, who've interviewed me, and I've talked with them as well, to try to bring this forward. It's huge in the sense that the transgender individuals are actually in a situation in which they are 4 times more likely to be below the poverty line and twice more likely to be unemployed than the national average. Because let's face it, somebody who may not understand this may not want to hire me. And when someone does a background check on me, they're going to find out, no matter even if I've changed my name, they're going to find out something, and they may have a prejudicial reason to not hire me for that. Even though I'm a computer engineer, an astrophotographer with a telescope, I'm a meteorologist part-time, and an avid, outspoken individual in the community. Some of these things just don't matter when all of a sudden there's this individual facing you that is not completely understandable or tangible. So these are some of the things I'm trying to get past and break down barriers of prejudice, because there's a lot of fear out there. And if there's any questions that you may have, you can ask me any question you wish, seriously, because education is key, and there's nothing that would embarrass me whatsoever. And I would be glad to either here or privately to be able to answer additional questions.
Is there anything pending in the state legislature on this?
Not at the moment, but I'm working with Representative Ed Butler right now from Carroll County, and we're trying to put something together. We've got a number of initiatives working. We're working from 2 different levels. Portsmouth currently has an ordinance in place. Durham and Somersworth are probably going to be having an ordinance in place relatively shortly. It's more more of a good faith sort of ordinance than anything else to indicate that the city does back this sort of thing. And we're working from that level, from the top down. We're also working from the bottom up. There are many, many companies in the southern tier of the state. The one which I work for, which is Oracle Computer, has an office in Nashua, New Hampshire, and they have a non-discrimination policy. And my company, as long as a number of other companies, are all backing this in the state. And if you remember, in Indianapolis and in Phoenix, Arizona, there were laws that were going to be put into place that suggested, that religion, based upon a religious edict, one could deny services. And companies were ready to pull out of Phoenix and Indianapolis, and we had a major sports team that was ready to pull out of Indianapolis. So we have backing from large companies from that end as well. But I think it's more of something of fairness, I think, and of inclusivity that I think we're just generally tending to look towards.
So in New Hampshire, so far, it's Portsmouth is the only one?
Right now, it has been very slow. We were able to get, wasn't part of it, but sexual identity was added so that there's no discrimination now for anyone based upon sex at birth, based upon, goes through.
This is the Portsmouth ordinance?
Yeah, and even at the state level, you cannot be discriminated against for sex, creed, race, sexual identity, but we don't have gender identity in there. And that's
so what's the difference between sexual identity and, well, that's gay?
exactly.
lesbian, okay.
Yeah, that's someone sexual identity is who you love. It's who you want to be with. And gender identity, basically sexual identity is what's down there, and gender identity is what's up here in your head. It actually does have some medical basis. I've actually had some medical tests.
So the state statute might be amended by including the phrase gender identity.
Exactly. That's all we're doing, is trying to add gender identity to an existing mandate that's already there. That's it. Just
Has
doing
any
it.
state done that yet?
Yeah. We're the last state. We're the last state in New England that hasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So we have 17 states so far.
No, that's what I was going to ask about. Could you tell what states are the surrounding states
What
are?
about outside New England? Do you know what the?
Yeah, I know DC. There's a number. I can actually get you that information.
No,
You,
I'm more
actually,
curious about.
you gave it to me, and here's some
Well, there's an
place.
FAQ. Do you want the FAQ? Here,
It's like 17 states.
pass you this. Actually, this is a handout you can get to
Okay.
and hand around. So
Does this have maybe the states that?
it may actually list them. If not, I can actually get
That's
you that
okay.
information.
I was just curious more than anything.
Yeah.
All right, well, any other questions or comments? No. I guess what we'll do is take it under advisement. Maybe we'll discuss it at another meeting, and after everybody's had a chance to sort of digest it, and then think about what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people behind me. I'm also a member of the Baptist Church in Ashland, and Pastor Ernie's a great guy. Actually, I've told him, and the choir's pretty much behind me on the
Yeah,
congregation's behind. So yeah, once I've explained it, I think they
Sure.
can understand. So
It's important to put a face on things, right?
well, yeah, it's important to put a face, and that's why I wanted to show up tonight. But seriously, if there's any questions, please.
I think you made an excellent presentation.
Well, thank you. I do the best I can with what I've got.
It's too bad you're working for Oracle, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, no, that's not going to be much longer. I'm planning
Oh, yeah?
on retiring at some point.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, and I'd like to do something else. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. I like to give back where I can. That's more important.
No, no.
All right,
What's
well,
that?
thank you.
They no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Kristen.
All right. So I guess, do we have any other new or other business? Anybody have anything? If not, I don't think there's anything else on the agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
You are excused.